morning, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. Good morning, good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to another episode of the 365 Money Heist podcast. Kind reminder, we are literally starting a whole new book today. Think Yourself Rich by your boy, Dr. Joseph Murphy, the great late Dr. Joseph Murphy. We just completed one of his shorter books, How to Attract Money. All right. And I just thought because this was so nice and short, and it gave us, I think, a really good, understanding of how this man thinks, an understanding of how he associates the power of the subconscious mind to our everyday practical thinking and the practical ways to start to slowly reprogram that. And I thought it would be very prudent to then continue with another one of his books before we jump into other stuff. So today, at least starting today, episode 30 something, maybe 33. Yeah, episode 33. I think we're on episode 33. We're going to be doing episode 33 today, chapter 1 of Think Yourself Rich. And the title of the chapter is Set the Secret of Miracle Power of Infinite Riches. And I'm assuming in this introduction, it's going to really sound a lot like the book we just finished. I can't imagine anything too different. Also, full disclosure, I actually haven't had a chance to read this book. So I've read Power of Subconscious Mind, Think Yourself and Grow Rich. I've read Mental Poisons and Their Antidotes. But this one will be new to me. So I'm very much looking forward to learning with you, right? And it's quite a long book, long relatively, right? It's literally about 19 chapters. So we'll take it one chapter a day, and that means it'll keep us busy for the next 19 to 20 to 21 days, given that Mondays we don't actually have a podcast reading. Right, without further ado, I will start. The secret of miracle power of infinite riches. The secret of miracle power for infinite riches. Excuse me. It is your God-given birthright to be rich. You're here to express the fullness of life in every way. Your secret purpose on earth is to lead a happy, joyous, and glorious life. The life more abundant. Infinite riches are all around you. The treasure house of infinite is not to be found in a bank vault or a pirate's trove. It is within your subconscious depths. Begin now to extract that marvelous gold mine within you, everything you need: money, friends, a lovely home, beauty, companionship, and all the blessings of life. Whatever you need, whatever you want, you can bring it forth when you learn to apply the proper techniques. It sounds a lot like you want to become wealthy, you want to become healthy, you want to have a good life. There's a certain way to do it, a scientific way. In yesterday's book, when we're finishing this book, I was reading this again last night, and I don't remember if I brought it up, but he uses these keywords. So on page 33 of yesterday's book, he talks about divine imagination, right, into any desired state. Earlier on, and let's see if I can find the page. There we go, page 29. He talks about the process which is called scientific imagination, right at the top there, scientific imagination. And now in this new book of his that we're looking at today, he says, look, man, there is a very specific way, a proper technique. So that's what we want to master. As I continue, Dave Howe, an old friend of mine, told me the story of two men, Peter R. and Steve G., who grew up in the same town and went to the same college to become geologists. After graduation, they took jobs with rival mineral exploration companies in the western United States. Peter put much time and energy into learning how to tap the mine's treasure house within him. Steve did not. He was a thorough skeptic about the powers of his own mind. Instead, he put all his faith in the techniques and electronic instruments his professor had taught him to use. He relied on externals, such as physical appearances, conditions, and the general topography of the soil. Early in his career, Steve was assigned to do a geological exploration of a certain area in Utah. He used all the most modern equipment of his profession and did everything he was supposed to do, but he found nothing. After 3 weeks, he gave up. Later that year, Peter conducted a survey on the same area. Within 3 days, he uncovered evidence that led to the discovery of a rich vein of uranium ore. His confidence in his guiding principles of his subconscious led him straight to the hidden world. The real riches were not concealed underground, they were openly evident in his mental orientation. The greatest secret in the world. Scientists recently achieved the breathtaking feat of decoding the human genome program for life itself, right? So the human program for life itself. It is said to now be within reach. One expert after another has proclaimed that this is the greatest secret being unfolded today. They tell us that in coming years, science will be able to alter our species' basic genes. If we choose, we can bring into being as many Einsteins, Beethovens as we like. I just want to pause there. I was watching something a while back, a documentary, and a lot of rich people in America who were going through getting pregnant through scientific ways versus the old-fashioned way, we could actually genetically modify the I think the seed or the semination process or the conception process of pregnancy between the egg and basically they could put specific genes that they wanted. I want our children to be this tall, and so they'll grab genes from a basketball player and etc. etc. So this what he's saying is literally happening already. So maybe when he wrote this book it wasn't, but it's actually taking place right now. You can now scientifically genetically program your seeds, so to speak, but it costs a lot of money. Now, these experts fail to understand a vital fact. Human beings are more than their bodies. Their hereditary characteristics, their family tree, the color of their skin, hair, and eyes. The living spirit of God is within humankind. The human subconscious is part of the eternal, which does not change. It is the same yesterday, today, and forever. We can be transformed in only one way, and that is by the transformation of our minds. Right. The greatest secret in the world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. The greatest secret in the world is that the kingdom of God is within us. Infinite intelligence, boundless wisdom, infinite power, infinite love, and the answer to every problem under the sun are locked within our subconscious minds. People search for the greatest secret in the world everywhere, but within themselves, yet the secret has always been within reach for all. Begin now to tap into these tremendous powers within you, and you'll start to live a full and happy life based on God, who giveth us richly all things to enjoy. For I have come that they might have life and have it more abundantly. Your right to be rich. It is normal and natural for you to want to achieve success, recognition, and prosperity in your life. You ought to have all the money you need to do what you do when you want to do it. There is no virtue in poverty. Poverty is a mental disease that should and could be abolished from the face of the earth. Just as wealth is a state of mind, likewise, poverty is a state of mind. If you want to eradicate all the slums in the world, we must first wipe out the mental slums created in people's minds by their belief in poverty and lack, right? So just some simple consistencies in the truths that we've been uncovering since the beginning of this journey. During my many years as a private counseling, as well as when talking with people following my lectures around the world, I constantly hear the same comment from people. The only thing holding me back is my lack of money. The only thing holding me back is my lack of money. There is nothing that $50,000 or $100,000 would not cure in my life. What these people fail to realize is that their own focus on what they lack is creating their poverty. What they fail to realize is their own focus on what they lack is what is actually creating their poverty. Wealth, like poverty, is really a pattern of thoughts and images in the mind. If these images were to follow the techniques explained in this book and begin to use their subconscious mind, wealth would flow to them in avalanches of abundance. It is the right of your family and you to have a healthy, nourishing health, food, good clothes, and a comfortable home, and the money you need to buy the good things of life. You need time every day for meditation, prayer, relaxation, recreation, and places that make these necessities possible. The true meaning of prosperity does not lie in having more things. It means that you begin to advance mentally, spiritually, and intellectually, as well as socially and financially. Subheading: How she discovered the riches of her subconsciousness. I was consulted by a woman, Benita W., who told me she had been the victim of a series of misfortunes. After a bitter divorce that left her in charge of two preschool children, her former husband moved across the country and stopped paying child support. She owned a home, but she was carrying both a first and second mortgage. Her one credit card was near limit. She had a regular job and also did after hours work, but all the money that came in went out again immediately. It was a constant struggle simply to put food on the table. Bettina stayed awake nights wondering what she would do if she or one of her kids fell sick. As she put it, her life was in a total mess. I explained to her that infinite intelligence within her subconsciousness could reveal to her everything she needed to know at all times. She could receive inspiration, guidance, new creative ideas, and a solution to her financial problems. I added that once she developed the ability to use her subconscious correctly, it would also provide all the money she needed. She would experience financial freedom beyond her fondest dreams. To put this process in motion, I offered Bettina two abstract ideas: wealth and success. As we talked, she came to understand that wealth is everywhere. Like all of us, she was born to succeed, to win in the game of life, because once tapped, the infinite power within her cannot fail. And at my suggestion, she began a program of spiritual exercise. Every night before going to sleep, she set aside a quiet time which she repeated slowly, feeling and with deep understanding: wealth, success, wealth, success. She realized that whatever she impressed on her subconscious would be magnified and multiplied on the screen of space. Just prior to sleep, our subconscious is particularly sensitive to whatever conscious thoughts we entertain. By focusing her subconsciousness on these two concepts, wealth, success, Bettina began to activate and release the latent powers of her subconsciousness. Right. So yesterday's book, if you follow in the podcast, you will know that we gave a lot of different things to say. Things that match your subconscious mind, things that match and create less conflict in your mind. So don't say I'm rich when you're dead poor. Rather, negotiate with where you're going. I am getting wealthier every day. I am moving out and growing spiritually, intellectually, and financially, etc. And he kept emphasizing that the best time to do this is just before you go to sleep. In this book, for the first time, he's actually explained why. And that's because his first best book was actually The Power of the Subconscious Mind, where he breaks all this stuff down. So we'll do that book at some point. But here he says, look, the subconscious mind, just before you go to sleep, is particularly sensitive to whatever conscious thoughts we entertain. Right. So that is the best time to do your visualizations or to meditate upon a specific set of things. Now, this is how her subconscious mind responded. When she used the subconscious never fails. Once appealed to, it meets our needs in unforeseen ways, regardless of the circumstance. Bettina succeeded in putting away the thoughts of poverty and stress while she concentrated on wealth and success. One night, as she was in the middle of this exercise, her eye fell on a vase she had inherited from her mother's old sister. The next day, on an impulse, she posted a description of the vase on the internet auction site. Within days, connoisseurs who recognized the rarity had a bid price of up to over $7,000. Bettina soon became regularly at yard sales and estate auctions. If a particular item caught her eye, she bought it, then offered it at an auction on the internet. Within 3 months, her profits from buying and selling antiques and collectibles were so great that she was able to quit her regular job and do the buying and selling full time. Friends and competitors told her that she owed her success to a knack. She knew better. She realized that her subconscious was the connecting the link that united her with the treasure house of infinity. The infinite intelligence within your subconscious can do for you only when you can do through you. The infinite intelligence within your subconscious can do for you only when it can do through you. Your thoughts, your feelings control your destiny. Because Bettina learned to place her faith in the unfading power of her subconsciousness, she will never find herself in a material or spiritual need. Subheading: The secret of riches and promotion was within him. Ralph S. was a gifted young attorney who had lost several cases in a row. He became gloomy, despondent, and full of self-criticism and self-condemnation. Soon, he began to suffer from serious financial reverses and drifted deeper and deeper into debt. After one of the senior partners at his firm gave him a friendly warning that his career was in danger, he came to me for help. Remember, Murphy is more of a psychologist by profession, so a lot of people you know what therapy is, right? Yeah. So all these real life stories are based on his his therapy sessions and studying his clients, and obviously the advice has impacted on them. Right. So after hearing his story, I explained a basic, if often overlooked fact: our thoughts are creative. That is, what we think tends to change and even create reality. The conditions and circumstances, events and experiences we go through are not accidents. They accurately reflect our habitual thinking and imagery. I told Ralph that if he dwelled constantly on limitation and lack, he would inevitably experience limitation and lack. In the same way, however, thoughts of peace, success, prosperity, right action, and abundance, if sustained regularly and systematically, reproduce themselves after their kind. We do not reap grapes from thorns or figs from thistles. The law is that we are what we think all day long. You see, I've been saying this, and there's actually now a real quote about it. It's a law. I didn't even know that. The law is that what we think, the law is that we are what we think all day long. I've been saying you become what you think about most of the time. So it's the same thing. The law is that we are what we think all day long. Moreover, thoughts you originate feeling and knowingly are especially effective. Used properly, they create for you whatever you wish to experience from this day forward. Thoughts, you originate feeling. So thoughts that come, that are emotionalized, that have feeling behind them. Like, for example, I have no money, and the feeling behind that is stress. Thoughts that I have peace and joy and harmony and love, and the feeling around that is happiness and being present around that. Thoughts you originate feelingly and knowing are especially effective. Used properly, they will create for you whatever you wish to experience from this day forward. My goal was to help Ralph begin to make use of the miraculous power of his mind. I laid out a program for him to follow, and that would remind him frequently of the riches of the infinite within his subconscious mind. Accordingly, I gave him the following prayer technique. 3 or 4 times every day, he took himself to a safe place where he would be undisturbed, and putting himself in a relaxed state, he affirmed slowly, quietly, and feeling as follows. I'll be writing a lot of these things down. Right, so I just want to quickly, as follows. Today is God's day. I choose harmony, success, prosperity, abundance, security, and divine right action. Infinite intelligence reveals to me better ways to give greater service. I am a mental and spiritual magnet, irresistibly attracting to me men and women who are blessed, comforted, and satisfied with my counsel and decisions on their behalf. I am divinely guided all day long, and whatever I do, I prosper. Divine justice, divine law, order govern all my undertakings. Whatever I begin will result in success. I know the law of my mind, and I am fully aware that all these truths I am reiterating are now sinking into my subconscious mind, and they will come forth after their kind. And the text says he told him to do this 4 to 5 times a day. Now, after I read, yesterday's chapter, I literally, this used to be my affirmations card. I don't know if you guys remember me doing this. I always have this little piece of paper with my affirmations. And at the back of that paper, I have squares, right? Well, that's gone now. I redid it, so now it's a little bit bigger. I don't know if this is clear, much bigger, right? Got it laminated by my beautiful partner, etc. And at the back, I've got this thing, because I have to catch up now with my new affirmations card, where I literally tick how many times, if I've done it before, because that's kind of like how I got through university. I used to make sure I've read a text 6 to 7 times, just so I am confident in approaching the examination, right? So I learned that if my mind sees that I'm ticking, that I've read this, my mind starts to affirm itself quicker that this information is somewhere in my mind, and sometime in the exam it will come out. So that's how I got through my undergrad honors, my law degree, my master's, etc., etc. And he's saying, from a psychological perspective, that you need to put yourself in a relaxed state and do this at least 3 to 4 times a day. And that prayer, or the prayer technique, or the affirmation that I just read out loud was for Ralph, right? You need to figure out what you want out of your life for yourself. Now, he made it a special point never to deny what he affirmed. So that's something you need to work on. If you're affirming health, prosperity, wealth, you must be careful to never deny what you affirm. If you're working towards, there is no lack in my life, I don't have the scarcity mentality, I am rich, you should never allow yourself to say something like, I am broke, that's too expensive, I can't afford it. You should try to be conscious. It will slip up, because if it's part of your money blueprint where you've been talking negatively about your financial future, it'll keep coming. But it's like when you tell yourself you want to stop swearing, right? You make a conscious decision, and once in a while you'll swear, but you will catch yourself, and then you'll start to kind of like recorrect it. If you are very much zenful, present in every moment, like Ken Honda teaches, and then it's easier to nip in the bud. It's easier to catch. So he says he made it a special point never to deny what he affirmed. When thoughts of lack, fear, or self-criticism tried to intrude, he would immediately reverse them by affirming, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. That's simple. A few years have passed today, and Ralph is a highly respected partner in his law firm, and his name is often mentioned as a likely prospect for judgeship. When your thoughts are God's thoughts, God's power is within your thoughts of good. Riches, another subheading of the listening ear and understanding heart. I've carefully saved a wonderful letter I received from a woman, Serena W., who listened every morning to my radio program. She told me that her husband, Robert, had died a few months earlier from a heart attack. He was only 38. They had often talked about buying life insurance, but the premiums were high. Money was tight, and there didn't seem to be any rush. As a result, she found herself a young widow with a 10-year-old son and few marketable skills, heavily mortgaged house, and particularly nothing in the bank. She had to borrow from her best friend to pay her husband's funeral's expenses. Disaster seemed only days or weeks away. She wrote, I heard your quote from the Bible, but my God shall supply all my needs according to his riches and glory. Philippians 4 verse 19. The words seemed to burn their way into my heart. Then you elaborated on this. You told us that if we tune in on the infinite within us, if we believe in our hearts, then no matter what, we really need to bless. If you told us that if we tune into the infinite within us, if we believe in our hearts, then no matter what, we really need to bless us, comfort us, provide us, or inspire us, the divine presence would respond. It is written, before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet to speak, I will hear. That's Isaiah 65:24. I sat down and began to think of God supplying my needs. I became convinced that he was hearing me as I prayed. A great sense of peace and harmony came over me. About 2 hours later, I got a call from my brother-in-law, Milt, in Seattle. Milt is a software engineer who has been very successful. He and my husband were close as children, but they weren't in touch that much in the recent years. I think Robert felt a little ashamed that he had not done as well in his career. Milt told me that he felt devastated by the loss of his brother and guiltily as well. He had often thought about spending more time with us, but he'd been so busy in his work and that he never felt able to. Now it was too late. He went on to say that he knew Robert and I had not been in great financial shape and he wanted to help. He was arranging to transfer a block of stock in his company to me. The dividends would be enough to cover our basic expenses, and he was also setting up a trust to pay for my son's education. He promised me that we would never be in want. All he asked in return was that we stay in touch and visit him from time to time. He did not want to make the same mistake with his nephew, my son, that he had made with his brother. Second subheading, how a salesman hit the jackpot. A real estate salesman named Ricky R. attended my lectures on Sunday mornings and listened to my radio program regularly. He told me that he had been drawn into speculating on the stock market and gotten himself deeply in debt. He had counted on his income for commissions to pull through, but in fact, he had not made a sale of a home or property in several months. We talked and I began to see what his real problem was. He was obsessed with envious, jealous, and critical thoughts about his colleagues who were making more sales than he was. He claimed that everything was about them disturbed him. He deplored their sales techniques, their professionalism, their vocabulary, even the ways they dressed. He went so far to tell me that their success was proof of their mediocrity. As we talked, I tried to show Ricky that the jealousy and envy he was generating reflected back on him. By minimizing the success of others, he was giving his own subconscious mind the message that success is bad. By minimizing the success of others, he was giving his own subconscious mind the message that success is bad, that it is something to be avoided, and his subconscious was responding accordingly. His own obsessive thoughts attracted lack, limitations, and miseries to him. What we wished and think for others, we tend to manifest in our own experience, because each of us is the only thinker in our individual universe. We are totally responsible for the way we think about others as well as about ourselves. Our Rick realized the trap he had fallen into and accepted responsibility for his own thoughts and wishes. He worked reversing his attitude. Gradually, he began to wish for all his colleagues the same success, achievement, wealth, and blessings that he wished for himself. He taught himself to meditate several times a day upon the following prayer. Remember, he said there's a technique. This meditation keeps coming up. There's a reason for it, right? I'm up at 4. There's a reason for that. Like this meditation process, affirming yourself time and time again is part of this technique. Anyways, here's this is what Rick was meditating on. Gradually, he began to wish for all his colleagues the same success, achievement, wealth, and blessings that he wished for himself. He taught himself to meditate several times a day upon the following prayer. I am a child of the infinite, and his riches flow to me freely, joyously, and endlessly. I am enriched in all ways with happiness, peace, wealth, and success, and outstanding sales. I am now stirring up the riches of my deeper mind. The riches results follow. I know I shall reap what I sow, for it is written, thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee, and the light shall shine upon thy ways. Right, so as I turn the page, the change in Rick's attitude manifested in his relations with others in his firm. They started to see him as an inspiration and a source of advice and support. Today, he is in charge of the firm's most productive branch and is often called on to lead workshops for the sales force. He has a solid reputation for his ability to teach others how to sell wisely, judiciously, and constructively. The book of Proverbs says, poverty and shame shall be to him that refuseth instruction. Now, this is the last page of the book. It's just that because I'm reading the book, I want you to see how it's pictured. And the subheading is meditation for realizing the abundant life. Repeat the following meditation to solve your problems for abundant living. I know that to prosper means to grow spiritually in every dimension. God is prospering me now in my body, my mind, and affairs. God's ideas constantly unfold within me, bringing me to health, wealth, and divine expression. I thrill inward, as he continues to write, the author, as I feel the life of God vitalizing every atom of my being. I know that God's life is animating, sustaining, and strengthening me now. I am now expressing a perfect, radiant body full of vitality, energy, and power. My business or profession is a divine activity. Since it is God's business, it is successful and prosperous. I imagine and feel an inner wholeness functioning through my body, mind, and affairs. I give thanks and rejoice in the abundant life. And that's the end of the chapter. They're just chapter points to remember. There are about 13 things that have come up in this chapter that he wants us to remember. Number one, you are here to lead the abundant life, a life full of happiness and joy, health, and rich living. Begin now to realize the riches of the treasure house within you. Number two, the real riches are within your subconscious mind. Right? The real riches are within your subconscious mind. A geologist who believed in the guiding principle of his subconscious mind found the treasure in the earth quickly and easily. His rival, who lacked the faith, explored the same area week for weeks and found nothing. Number three, the greatest secret in all the world is that God dwells in humans. The average person looks everywhere, but within himself or herself for success and wealth, happiness, and abundance. God is the life principle, the infinite intelligence, and the infinite power within us, available instantly to all people through the medium of their thought. Number four, poverty is a disease of the mind. Belief in poverty and lack produce lack and limitation. Poverty is the disease of the mind. Belief in poverty produces lack and limitation. Wealth is a state of mind. Believe in the law of riches and you shall receive. Before we will ultimately banish the slums of the poverty, we must first banish the slums and false beliefs in the mind of people. Number five, you can tap the riches of your subconsciousness by claiming guidance, abundance, wealth, security, and right action. Make a habit of meditating on these truths and your subconscious mind will respond accordingly. Number six, if you lower yourself to sleep every night with two ideas, wealth and success, knowing that by repeating them, you are activating the latent powers of your deeper mind, you will be compelled to express wealth and success. Number seven, infinite intelligence in your subconsciousness can only do for you what it can do through you. Your thought and feeling control your destiny. Number eight, when you believe that the nature of the infinite intelligence is your subconscious mind, is to respond to the nature of your request, the answers will always come to you in ways that you do not know of. I'm going to pause on number eight. There's something called a radar, real quick, just to teach this because I want it to all come together as quickly as possible for everyone. A radar is, if you're a pilot, it's the screen in front of you. I'm a trader. I've got four screens, but let's say my center screen, you can't see it. This is my radar. This is where I'm seeing things. If you're driving, your radar is your speedometer, your fuel tank, and the thing that catches the temperature gauge. Human beings in general have a tendency to make decisions with their radar, what's in front of them. So a lot of people will say, I want abundance in life. And because they are working, they might translate that to mean they're going to get a promotion in their job. Entrepreneurs will think it might mean they're going to get more customers into their business. He's going to do a better job. Many of the authors are going to do a better job than what I'm about to say in explaining the radar. Forget about the radar. What we're doing here has nothing to do with trading, right? The problem is If you're a trader, if you're not a trader, that's fine. But if you're a trader, you approach the market with your current subconscious mind. You approach the market with your money blueprint. You approach the market with your sense of lack and the markets being your solution, right? Your immediate solution. What we're doing in the 365 Money Heist podcast, and that's why it's for traders and people who are not traders, is we want to develop a powerful sense of what the radar is. The radar isn't what you can see and control. Your job, your talents, your sense of employment, your current job, your future job. The radar is technically the infinite power, the formless substance, right, that the Science of Getting Rich book spoke about. And so the only way people can finally tap into that is to understand that what you want, which is to be wealthy, healthy, etc., might not always come the way you think it's going to come, in terms of your radar, in terms of what you think you know, etc., etc. And just be very mindful as we finish this book, because I know it's only chapter 1. So I'll read number 8 and explain why I'm bringing that up. When you believe that the nature of the infinite intelligence in your subconscious mind is to respond to the nature of the request, the answers will always come to you, and in ways that you do not know of. You don't get to control the radar. Your job is to control your mind, right? So please bear that in mind. Number 9, your thoughts are creative. This is good and bad. Each thought tends to manifest itself in your life. Thoughts of promotion, riches, expansion, and achievement, provided you do not deny them thoughts of promotion, riches, expansion, and achievement, provided you do not deny them subsequently, come forth after their kind. You promote yourself, you answer your own prayer, because it is done unto you as you believe, as is according to your faith. But the disclaimer here is this is a very easy process, provided you do not deny them subsequently. So you cannot have two dominating ideas in your mind. You cannot have the idea of abundance, wealth, a betterment for your life, and also the dominant idea for lack and despair. If you're not in a financially good place today, as we're going through the podcast, there is a 99.9% chance that your money blueprint is polluted. There's a 99.9% chance that the dominant thoughts in your subconscious mind are of lack. If you were broke last month in January, and you're broke this month in February, and you're broke in December last year, you've been broke for the last 3 months or 4 months, there's a very high possibility that you are producing after its own kind, right? So subconsciously, no matter how much better you want to be in life, you are subconsciously stuck in your money blueprint. And so you're just producing after its own kind. And so you have to put maximum effort to start to reprogram. And we've been going through this stuff, how to do it in the podcast, right? So it's just a kind reminder that you need to make sure there's only one dominating voice. It won't happen overnight, but you need to start now, right? Start now. Now, be careful when you affirm wealth. Be careful when you affirm wealth, success, right action, and promotion, that you do not subsequently deny what you affirm. This is number 10, sorry. That would be like mixing an acid with alkali, and you would not get an innate substance. In other words, stop neutralizing your good. Thoughts are things. What you feel, you attract, and what you imagine, you become. The title of the book, one more time, Think Yourself Rich, right? Everybody's just ran with Napoleon Hill's soundbite. Number 11, be sure that you are envious or jealous of the success, riches, and wealth of others. Be sure that you are not envious or jealous of the success, riches, envious, and wealth of others. Remember, your thought is creative. If you're envious or critical of those who have amassed wealth and honors, you will impoverish yourself along those lines. What you wish for others, you tend to create in your own experience. An easy hack: go out of your way to bless people. Verbally, emotionally, financially. Leroy, I don't have a lot of money. Yes, yes, right there. Take what you have and make sense of who to bless and make it a thing. Learn to release, right? Learn to release money, man. Right. Number 12, whatever you feel to be true and so decree in your life will definitely come to pass. Decree riches, health, beauty, security, and right action. Thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee, and the light shall shine upon their ways. Job 22, verse 28. And number 13, the last one, use the meditation at the end of the chapter to realize a more abundant life. The meditation at the end of the chapter, and I'll repeat it, is I know that to prosper means to grow spiritually in every dimension. God is prospering me now in my body, mind, and affairs. God's ideas constantly unfold within me, bringing me to health, wealth, and perfect divine expression. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how Dr. Murphy starts off this beautiful book. Tomorrow, join me as I look at chapter 2, how to tap the miracle power at once that makes you rich. See you tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. 365, shake my hand. Goodbye.